Lori and Cedric's Last Stand. A tale of werewolves and the horrifying price of vengeance. The crisp night air of the small, rural town of Birchwood Grove hung heavy in the air as two figures emerged from the shadows of the moonlight. Cedric and Lori had been walking for hours and were finally reaching their destination. They had come to Birchwood Grove in search of something that had been the source of numerous tales around the campfire in their hometown. They had heard of the legendary werewolves that roamed these parts but had never believed such tales until now. The town of Birchwood Grove was eerily quiet as they made their way down the cobblestone streets. Every now and again they heard the low howl of a wolf in the distance, each one sending a chill down their spine. As they rounded a corner they saw a small cabin and Cedric knew immediately this was the place they had been searching for. They cautiously approached the door of the cabin and Cedric knocked, but no one answered. Just as Cedric was about to try the door, it opened on its own, revealing a dark and musty room. Inside, the cabin was in disarray. Papers were scattered about and furniture was overturned. As Lori and Cedric stepped further into the cabin, something made a noise from the other room. Cedric's heart raced and he instinctively stepped back, but it was too late. From the other room emerged a tall, hulking figure. In the moonlight, Cedric and Lori could just make out the figure's glowing eyes and sharp claws. Cedric knew immediately what the figure was, a werewolf. The creature lunged at them, but Cedric and Lori managed to escape, running as fast as their legs could carry them. They had barely made it a few yards, however, when they heard another howl coming from behind them. As they turned their heads, they saw a pack of 6 werewolves sprinting towards them. Cedric and Lori had no time to escape, so they sprinted in the opposite direction, Cedric pushing Lori in front of him, trying to shield her from danger. As they made their way through the streets, more and more of the werewolves started to emerge, each one faster and hungrier than the last. Now, in the height of their panic, Cedric and Lori were surrounded. The werewolves were closing in from all sides and Cedric knew there was no chance of escape. He and Lori were stuck, with no way out. In his last act of heroism, Cedric stepped in front of Lori and pushed her behind him, shielding her from the werewolves. Cedric looked at the werewolves and in that moment, knew this was how it would end. The werewolves were ready to pounce and Cedric closed his eyes and accepted his fate. All of a sudden, Lori screamed out and Cedric opened his eyes to find that the werewolves had stopped in their tracks. In the distance, a figure appeared, wielding a cross high in the air. The figure began to chant and the werewolves backed away in fear. Lori and Cedric had been saved by a mysterious figure and they ran to meet them. When they got closer, both Cedric and Lori couldn't believe their eyes. It was the same figure they had seen in the cabin earlier, the same figure they had been searching for. The figure was a woman, dressed in white and wearing a cross around her neck. She looked at Cedric and Lori with knowing eyes and explained that she was the only one capable of defeating the werewolves. She then chastised Cedric and Lori for their foolishness and warned them never to return to Birchwood Grove. The figure had saved Cedric and Lori's lives, but the price of freedom would be a heavy one. As the woman left, she cursed Cedric and Lori, placing a curse of the wolves upon them. For the rest of their lives, they would be cursed to transform into werewolves during the full moon. Cedric and Lori never returned to Birchwood Grove, but to this day, on the night of the full moon, 2 werewolves can be heard howling in the distance. Horrified by their fate, Cedric and Lori now live out their days in fear, forever cursed by their foolishness and unable to escape the haunting howls of their werewolf counterparts. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.